Alright, so I think basically I've just been giving life updates. And this is only my third video, so yeah. I don't have any makeup on, so I kind of feel weird. But I did do a hair mask today, so my hair is like on point. Yes. Yeah, so anyway, so updates. 4 days ago, so last Tuesday, my friends and I signed our lease for our apartment, which is exciting. But yeah, it's kind of weird because I was up there for 5 days and 4 nights, and my boyfriend doesn't really have a place right now that he's staying. Like he's staying like with his parents, then with friends, but he's working like an hour from his parents' house, so mostly he's been staying with friends. So we stayed with his friends a couple nights, and then we went camping a couple nights. So it's been weird. I feel like every time I'm visiting him, we eat horribly, or like we'll go out to eat or so now I have to get back on working out and eating well, but did go grocery shopping today, got like basic necessities for the week. And the lights in here were not making like me show up on the screen, so I have my phone like blaring its huge bright light at my face. So yeah, that doesn't help my like no makeupness. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what else is really new. I'm like applying to jobs, but it's weird because I'll only really be like in this area for like a year. Then we'll be going to Hawaii. So it's like hard because a lot of professional jobs you're supposed to stay with for like a couple years or so. So it's weird because it's like I could just work at a restaurant job, but it would be kind of nice to have more of like a steady stream of income, I guess. Although you can make a lot at some restaurants, so I am applying to one that I hopefully will, if I do that job, will make a lot at, but we'll see. Yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry, I'm still absolutely horrible at making these videos. Um, yeah, and not a lot is new because right now I don't really have a job because we were hoping the apartment would be available like a month earlier than it is available. It's not available for like 3 weeks still, so it's annoying. I do babysit though, or nanny technically is a new term these days. But yeah, I think it's maybe just babysitting because I don't live there. But yeah, so I do babysit once or twice a week for a couple families. One family, like when I do babysit, I don't babysit a lot there, maybe, I don't know, not a lot, but it's usually like 8 to 10 hours when I do, so it is a lot of hours. Anyway, though, yeah, so new. It's really hot here. It says it's 58 degrees outside, but in the house it is 80-some degrees, and when I go outside it does not feel like 58 degrees. Like usually 58 degrees feels cold, and it's so hot. The dogs are super hot right now. I don't even know if you can see them. Ooh, the phone fell. The light. Sorry. I'm trying to get my flashlight back. There. Can you see her? Isn't she super cute? Even though she's like not coming in. Alright, sorry. Yeah. So anyway, 1 second. So I don't have anything really new with me, except that I don't really know if I think I have talked about law school before. And everything I've been hearing from people is kind of like there's too much of a saturation of lawyers right now, and so you're not really going to get a good job or like going to get a job even if you do go to law school and pay maybe even up to like $200,000. So I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really want that anymore, and I'm kind of leaning towards being like a nutritionist or like a personal trainer, something like that. I think would be cool. And I think I could do it in Hawaii and Australia as well, which would be neat since that's where I will probably be for the next like 6 or so years of my life. Yeah. But I don't know. It's not that my parents would dislike it, but I think they'd kind of be disappointed that I'm not doing law. So I don't exactly know how to break it to them. So I'll just kind of do it and then I'll be like, ta-da, I'm doing this. Kind of like, ta-da, we're engaged. Yes, life plans. I'm not always the best at making them. Well, actually, I'm good at making them. I'm just not good at, like, disclosing until things are done, I guess. I guess because, like, I don't want to get other people's, like, hopes up or, like, be like, I'm doing this and then not actually be good enough to do it or something. I think. I don't know. But yeah, so didn't exactly want to get into politics and all of that, at least not early on. But I don't know, I feel like lately that's just kind of like been what I've been interested in and kind of like what's going on. So I guess I'm not sure. So I guess a couple like areas that I've seen recently that new things are like the deaf community. So I'm kind of interested in learning sign language and I'm slowly learning it. Like I can say nice to meet you, ta-da, in sign language. And like where's the bathroom? Like simple sentences in sign language. Um, one thing is like I know, like I don't know, I know, I don't know. Those are simple things too to know. Um, yeah. So very simple. Okay. Yeah, very simple things I'm learning, and but it's kind of interesting to see like how that community is and how many opportunities I have when I think like, oh, I don't have that many like options, I guess, or opportunities for me when there's a whole community of people who can be super brilliant, smart, amazing people, but because they don't speak, like there's no real like there's not a lot of doctors for example, or like a lot of things, like a lot of times they kind of get like brushed under and get basic jobs, like the jobs that a lot of Americans think aren't good enough jobs just because people see them as disabled. And like it is mandatory to hire people with disabilities, but you can like you could be a law firm and hire them to hold the door or something like that. Like then you are technically hiring them and you're finding a job for them that anyone could do. Like you could take a middle schooler and be like, hold this door, and they could do it. So just like things like that kind of seem really unfair and unequal. Other topics. So it is 2017 and we have a celebrity as our president. Like craziness. Like if we weren't already a joke to countries, like teenagers who go crazy and party all the time and that's all we do, obviously. I'm not saying that's true. Now we have a celebrity as our president, and that is what a lot of countries call him. They don't refer to him as President Trump. They refer to him as Celebrity Trump. So now we are a huge joke to the whole entire world, and the decisions he's making is a huge joke to the whole entire world also. So with him being president, it's weird because there's all these groups who are like affected by it. Like, for example, the LGBTQ community, the black community, minority communities, the environment's being affected by him. Just so much, so much. It's insane. Like when I heard he was running for president, I thought it was a joke. Like Britney Spears or Paris Hilton being like, "I want to be president." you know, like would we really let our country be led by Paris Hilton? I have nothing against her personally, and she is funny and sometimes, and she is really pretty actually. But would that be a good idea to have our country be run by her? I don't think so. Like, I couldn't even run the country because I don't know all the things. Like, I feel like to be president, you should have been a political figure just so you are aware of the politics, the things that are going on, and you kind of know how things run. Like, I took many political science classes, and I still don't know anything really about the world. Um, I might know more than him. Who knows? That'd be interesting. But like I said, I'm definitely not qualified for the position. So, yeah. So, with him being president and like a lot of minorities feeling like weird and just like they don't fit in, it's weird. Um, and I am not I'm not a majority either. So I'm Chilean, um, not Mexican, a lot or Filipino or I don't know. A lot of people will see me and they'll be like, "Oh, are you Filipino? Are you Indian? Are you Mexican?" I'm neither. I'm none of those. But and I was raised by white parents. So that like makes it weird too because basically like I am a white girl in America. But that doesn't stop racism from being directed at me, I guess. Which is weird because like I always kind of felt like weird for being brown when like no one else was around me really. Like my cousins are blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. My sister is white with like brown hair, brown eyes. We kind of look alike, but like you see my whole family, like me and my parents and my sister together, and it's like, well, how did she get brown? Um, which it doesn't really bug me at all. I kind of like it, but it doesn't mean like people don't like say you should go back to your country or that people don't think of me as underprivileged when really I've been pretty privileged in my life. Or it doesn't mean that like I possibly could get into law school just because I'm a minority, or that I got into my college because of that. I mean, I had good grades too and I did activities, but it doesn't mean that like you're not like part of this. Or like I'd have classes, like I went to school in Wisconsin, which is a white state mostly. White and Asian seem to be like the biggest population, and then minorities make up about 5% of my school, of like a 12,000 student body. So, yeah, it was pretty white. And we would take like I took like a social shoot, I'm blanking on the word. Social work class, but it was about like children and just poverty or something. Child development even maybe. But the teacher was super she like it was weird because she worked in South America for a while, which was interesting and I thought that was cool at first. But then she started teaching and it was like the worst experience of my life, like one of the worst experiences. And like there was one black girl in my class and then there was me and everyone else was white. And so she's just like talking about how like black kids are inherently like the world is against them and how all of their like everyone's experiences are the same. And she kept targeting this black girl and like then like she would like look at me too, like I would be like, yes, discrimination happens all the time. Which um I mean there is discrimination all around and it does happen a lot, but it isn't necessarily targeted at me. It's just like there aren't things like band-aids are a really good example. No band-aid is my skin color really. Um, or any black person's skin color. They have like clear band-aids, but then like the thing is white. So that looks even more weird because it's like clear tape and then a big white square on your body. Um, so like that's an example of kind of like white privilege where it's just something that happens and just deal with it. But I mean, also when you're a kid, you want like the Hello Kitty that like shows you a band-aid on anyway. Um, so there's things like that, or like how people just like inherently think that I have been deprived of like education or something like that when it's like I actually went to a private school for high school, just for high school. Um, yeah, so she was just making it seem like we'd been targeted our whole life and like the world acts against us when In some ways it does, but there's also like cases where people rise against it, or just because I look Mexican, doesn't mean like everyone is like go back to your country, or like you should work at McDonald's or something like that. Like I've also been the president of and treasurer of like different clubs in my school, like major like I was president of economics and I was treasurer of criminal justice. So it's not like I didn't get leadership roles, and I did research with professors, so it wasn't like, I don't know. And it's not like every black person hasn't had like the ability to go to a good school, and it's not like every black person has lived in the ghetto and been in a gang and sold drugs. That is just pure like her racism, like thinking that that's how everyone grew up, when it's like, no, people don't always grow up like that. And I think the girl was adopted too. So her parents are white. So she just like targeted it, and it made it feel so weird. And it was like horrible, even for the white kids in the class. Like everyone just felt like completely weird, and kind of like she'd stripped off everyone's clothes in the class, and it just felt so wrong and so weird. Um, and that's probably the biggest experience I've ever had, really. Besides, like, like middle school or elementary school, and people being like, why are you brown and stuff like that. And it's just like, because that's me. Like, why are you white? You can't choose those kind of things. Like, I can choose the hair color, but you can't choose your eye color. Like there's context now. Um, but your skin color, like, you can bleach it, I guess, but you can't choose the color that you were born with. That's just life. And it's stupid how people just like stack that against you, and it's it's ridiculous. But now in the world, it's more at like a point where it's something people are aware of. It's more like, the fact that Trump was elected. It was a lot of like uneducated white male people were the biggest voters for him. Also, it was one of the lowest voter turnouts, because a lot of people thought it was a joke, and like, how could he get elected? Like, I don't need to vote. That's a joke. So it was that. And then it's a lot of people who are racist or sexist or anythingists. And it does exist in the world. Like in college, there was a international men's, I think, soccer league. But I started going because a lot of my friends did. And they're like, you can't play unless you can find another girl, because otherwise teams won't be matched up, because obviously girls are such worse players than men. So you need to have one girl on each team to even out the awfulness that we are. When I was better than some of the guys on the teams. And obviously some of the guys were better than me. A lot of the guys were, and a lot of the guys weren't. Um, but yeah, it happens, you know? And I don't know. Like living here, like now I'm in Illinois, it's a lot different because there are a lot more different like races in the area. Like there are a lot of Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, African Americans, black people. That's kind of like weird what to say. I think black is more appropriate now, but there's like all those people. Asians, Ethiopians, a lot of different cultures together here. So it is a little bit different. Like I can go into a store and there will be other people who look more like me. Whereas in Wisconsin, it was weird. Like, I was friends with a lot of the international students, so I kind of felt like it was like I was part of a group. But then, like, you go to class, and it's like everyone is white, and there's me, which never bothered me. I actually liked it. There was like a lot of times it'd be like, say something interesting about yourself, and I'd just say, I'm Chilean, and no one else in the class would really have that. So. It was, it's cool, and I like it and I embrace it, but it is scary for a lot of people out there just to see like how much of the world is like against like black people. So I'm like very much on a different scale than black people, because they experience words. They experience racism at a whole different level than I experience it, and I experienced it at a whole different level than white people experience it. Plus, like, my name is more ethnic also. So, yeah, it's interesting and different. But, so, yes. So I guess racism and the other isms, as well as like deafness, are kind of the things that I'm more interested in now and like I would like to pursue. So, yeah. Um, yeah, so I think that's good for today. I'm not sure exactly what I will be talking about later. I mean, I'll probably do something with makeup maybe or hair. I'm like decent at doing like quick updos or quick hair tutorials, things like that, because that's what I do in my normal daily life, I guess. Makeup, I mean, I just do basic like everyday makeup. And I've done the same makeup since I was probably in like, 6th grade. So, yeah. I mean, I've changed some techniques like the whole contouring I've kind of like played with. Not that I know if it's ever done well. My mom's always like, your blush is too dark, and it's like, that's a contour, mommy. So, yeah. But, so update on my life, kind of like what I would like to get into or work with later on in life anyway. What I think is important, and that's all for tonight. I will stop boring you. Okay, have a good one. Bye.